Three, two, one.
You ready?
You're listening to the Real Pineapple Podcast Network. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. This is The Real Pineapple. This is your humble host, Hunter, here. Hope you guys are having a lovely evening so far. So I got a quick review here for you guys. I went and saw Zombieland Double Tap this weekend. I'm going to review the original Zombieland later this week. I will say just real quick, I forgot how much I love that first movie. Like, I was really sitting there watching it going, damn it, I really do enjoy the hell out of this. And it really made me happy to see, before Walking Dead kind of killed zombies for me. Because, I liked the first maybe 4 or 5 seasons of Walking Dead. Once Okoye, the girl who plays Okoye and Michonne, I can't think of her last name, but yeah, once she showed up, Denai Guerrera, that's right. But yeah, once she shows up and she's there for like a season or two, I pretty much lost interest. And it wasn't even because of her. She's one of the few things I like about that show still. It got so repetitive, and it just seems like people were dying for no reason, and it just started to really bother me after a while. So I just stopped. But when Zombieland came out in 2009, Walking Dead wasn't the phenomenon it was, and the zombie genre still seemed very new. And what was cool about it too is, as a big fan of Shaun of the Dead, it was cool to see another zombie movie that was so funny and that was so witty. So this one's directed by Ruben Fleischer, who of course hit it big with Venom. It's a bummer he's not doing the second one, but yeah, it is what it is. He was a producer on Gangster Squad, which I actually enjoyed that movie. I totally forgot about that. I was like, oh, okay. So, really like him. And then Dave Callahan and Rhett Reese, they were both the writers on Deadpool. And actually, it looks like, Dave Callahan, he's a writer on Wonder Woman 84. So, that's something. So, it'll be interesting to see how that movie turns out. But I will say this will be a short review because it's a pretty simple plot, but I don't want people to kind of get the bad idea of oh well, I didn't like it. I really enjoyed the heck out of this. It's not as good as the first one. Let's just get that out of the way. It's not, but the thing that is there that made me go, okay, this is still Zombieland, is the chemistry between Abigail Breslin, Woody Harrelson, Jesse Eisenberg, and Abigail Breslin. It's weird, and I said it to Colin. We were texting this weekend, and I was just like, dude, it's weird to see that Little Miss Sunshine is hot now. I'm like, it's weird. It's still weird to see her growing up and shit. I remember seeing her on Scream Queens, and I actually really liked her on Scream Queens. I thought she did a really good job. So seeing her on there, I was kind of like, okay, like, it's still weird, but it's still weird. It's still weird. I know she's like 20, I think she's like 22, but it's just, it's weird. Sorry, it's probably going to always be weird, to be honest. But I really liked her in this, kind of playing this very much a hipster, in my opinion. She's 20, okay, she's 23. It's still weird. Anyways, but it was funny seeing her kind of play this kind of hipster, almost teenager, in the sense of, this has been her family, and the movie picks up in real time. It doesn't ever say it's in 2019, but the way they allude to everything, it does seem like it's taking place in, what would be present day. And I appreciate that, because they've been a family this whole time. They've stuck together. And so when she's wanting to kind of go ahead out on her own, Little Rock, when she's saying, I want to meet people my age, you go, well, that makes sense, because you've been a part of this family. That's all you've known, really since the zombie apocalypse. My favorite part of these movies is Tallahassee. I love Woody Harrelson. He's one of my favorite actors. I can't wait to see him as a Carnage in Venom 2. He was in one of my favorite movies a couple years ago, 3 billboards outside Billings, Missouri, or Billings, Montana. Billings, Missouri, Billings, Montana. I think it's Billings, Missouri. But yeah, I love Woody Harrelson. He's been in so much stuff that I just love. So seeing him being that, just being that asshole, it made me so happy seeing be just his prickish self, and he's still busting Columbus's balls, which is great. Jesse Eisenberg, I still hold so much resentment towards him for Lex Luthor in BVS. It's like you asshole, you just had to fuck up Lex, but it's cool to see Jesse Eisenberg. I think people do forget how good Jesse Eisenberg can be. While I hate his Lex Luthor in BVS, that tease we got in at the end of Justice League, it really showed what I think his Lex Luthor could be, and he's so great in the Social Network. I hate those Now You See Me movies, so I won't give him that. But I really liked him in American Ultra. I really like him in why am I blanking on the movie? I actually really like him in 30 Minutes or Less. I know it's not the best movie, but I actually really like him in that. So I think Jesse Eisenberg can be great when he gives a shit, and it seems like he was having fun here. So it's nice to actually cheer him on again, because I have not been a fan of everything he's done. And Emma Stone is just, I just love him still so much. Whenever I see her, it's instant swoon. I'm a huge fan of her in just about everything she does. I love Easy A. I think that movie is hilarious. While I definitely have my issues with The Help, about it being a black story told through a white narrator, I hate that shit. Emma Stone is great in that movie. Like, she is great. And Emma Stone's just in The Favorite, and we haven't reviewed that yet. We're going to, because I just love that movie. She was great in that. And she's just, she'll always have a lot of rope for me just because of Pop Star. Just the fact she was in that, I was like, I love you. So I'm a huge fan of her. So seeing her cussing again and being almost like a not a lovable asshole, even, because Columbus is such a goon. I'd give him shit too. But seeing her relationship with Columbus evolve because he decides to be a moron, and this movie really is about the guys kind of fucking up and trying to find their ways to kind of get acceptance or forgiveness. Tallahassee fucks up with Little Rock, basically telling her, like, hey, we're your family, when she's talking about going out and meeting kids her age. And Columbus goes ahead and proposes to Wichita in a very just dumb move. Like, it really does kind of come from nowhere. I know they've been together for a decade or whatever, but getting married in the zombie apocalypse, you're not going anywhere. It just seemed kind of, I don't know. Like, she freaked out, and I went, I kind of understand where she's coming from as far as her going, why do we need to be married? We practically are now. Like, so I kind of appreciate her freaking out. I know it's going to sound weird to some people, but yeah, that's fine. But I really actually enjoyed that she kind of freaked out on this. And so one of the few new wrinkles is that once Little Rock and Wichita leave, Columbus and Tallahassee go to get supplies. They go to this mall and they meet Madison, who's played by Zoe Dutch, who I hadn't really seen in anything prior. She looked familiar, and I could not place her. I was looking at her the whole time going, what do I know you from? She's a Disaster Artist. That's right. Okay, I do remember her in that. Okay, that makes sense. So, but I thought Madison stole the movie. I thought Zoe Dutch, I would put her in a comedy, like maybe Barry or something like that. Like, she is great. Her comedic timing is so spot on. She basically plays this very like ditzy girl, like kind of valley girl, and she just has these lines where she says something so dumb, you just kind of face palm. I remember she goes on this monologue about clowns, and how clowns are scary. She's like, oh my god, clowns are just the worst. And Tallahassee's looking at her like, what is wrong with you? And it's so funny. And some of the stuff that she has is like pretty funny, but just in her delivery, it makes it sound even better, and it like enhances the joke, which is what a good comedian should do. And I thought she was just absolutely hilarious. She has great chemistry between all of them. Of course, Wichita ends up coming back and joining back up with Tallahassee and Columbus because Little Rock meets this guy named Berkeley, who's played by Avon Jogia, is what I'm going to go with. And he's this total hipster stoner who plays other people's songs while taking credit for it. Like, playing such old shit that, most quote millennials unquote wouldn't know what it is. And so he's playing Bob Dylan pretty consistently. That was really funny to listen to. And passing off his own stuff, and he's reciting these poems, and he's such a goon. Like Tallahassee talks constantly about how he wants to kick his ass, and I was sitting there going, you know what, I don't blame you, Tallahassee, I want to kick his ass. So she ends up leaving with Berkeley, and so Wichita, Tallahassee, and Columbus all team up to go find Little Rock. But at that point, they'd already been joined by Madison, so you get the little kind of love triangle between Madison and Wichita and Columbus, and they get some good humor out of that. It is laughable that two people would be fighting over Jesse Eisenberg, but whatever. But let alone, I mean, not like Jesse Eisenberg's a bad looking guy, but having Emma Stone and Zoe Dutch fighting over him, I went, okay, that's a little hard to stomach, but whatever, fine. But it is a funny gag that keeps going, and Tallahassee will get his shots in. One thing I was really happy about, I saw that Rosario Dawson plays Nevada, and I was kind of a little worried that, she'll be maybe a glorified cameo. But no, she actually got a surprising amount of screen time, and her and Woody Harrelson, I can't think of a time they've worked together before. I would love to see them work together again. They had great chemistry. I thought they were just really good together. Nevada is actually dating Albuquerque, who's played by Luke Wilson, which I actually like Luke Wilson. Like, I'm not, I like Old School. I like him in Old School quite a bit, actually. And I love him in Royal Tenenbaums. And Idiocracy is one of those cult movies that if my friend hasn't seen it, I'll go, oh, dude, like, I have it on my Amazon. Go on and watch it, please. I love Idiocracy. And it is very sad how relevant that movie is today. But the chemistry between Albuquerque and Flagstaff, who's played by Tom Middleditch. I've talked about Tom Middleditch, Thomas Middleditch, whatever. I've talked about him on the podcast before. He really bothers me. He bugs me so much. He of course, is on Silicon Valley. He plays Richard, and oh my god, he bothers me on Silicon Valley. He really bothers me in just pretty much everything he's in, especially that last Godzilla movie, which, oh my god, I could not stand him in that shit. It was so good to see him in this, because, like, you get to hate him, because he's like Columbus, but a douchey version of Columbus. He's just kind of a, not even an asshole. He just seems so self-righteous, even more so than Columbus, which is kind of amazing. And I love how they resolve that the little tiff there between Albuquerque and Tallahassee and Flagstaff and Columbus. It's really funny to see that they're the mirror versions of themselves. Columbus has his rules, and Flagstaff calls them commandments. It's very weird. So they have this whole kind of dialogue where they're all like mirroring each other, and it's a really funny sequence. And Nevada's kind of standing there like, what the fuck is going on? One of the wrinkles they do throw in is that they do add some new types of zombies, which I really appreciated, because you've got they call them like the T800 I think I say like T800, who you shoot them, and it takes a lot more than just double tapping to kill them, which is something I actually really appreciated. The fact they went ahead and added in kind of more of a super, it's almost like a super zombie. Like, yeah, you can still kill them, but they take way more bullets. And it kind of reminded me of when you're playing Resident Evil 4, and you have the guys with the chainsaws, where they might take 6 or 7 shots to go ahead and put them down. And I appreciate that the movie kind of escalated the zombie types. You've got the Stephen Hawking, or the Hawking is what they call it, where they have this one zombie. This guy locks himself in this coded door that has like an eye spot to scan your eye, and the zombie kills this guy who's right around the corner, who's like right in front of the door, and scans his eye to open the door, and then kills the guy who's hiding behind the glass. It's a pretty messed up scene to watch. I was like, damn, that sucks. But it's cool to see that you see that certain zombies have gotten gotten smarter. And then you've got the Homer zombie, which is just this big, dumb, kind of wanders all over the place zombie. And there are a couple of those, too. Breaking down the action, I thought the action is actually better. This time around, there is more of it. I don't know what the budget was on this. It couldn't have been too much. But what I did appreciate is that near the end of the movie, because, the last movie, just rewatching it, you did get a very big, giant kind of shootout with them against the zombies. Here they do something that's completely that is different from what you would expect from a final third kind of showdown, and I appreciate the reason they did it and the explanation behind this reason. I was like, okay, I really appreciate that. It felt new in that sense. There is some really good action and stuff. The budget looks like it's about $42 million, so. And that I don't think it did super well this weekend. I know it actually debuted in third, which is a bummer, honestly, because I really did actually enjoy this movie. Yeah, so sorry, I'm actually just looking up the opening weekend here real quick. I think it was only about 26. Okay, so 26. Okay, yeah, it's like 26.7 million. That's a pretty good opening. That's a pretty good opening for it, actually, for a $42 million budget. So it'll make its money back, and this movie should make its money back. They do something with Madison, I will say, that made me really happy. It's kind of a twist. So I'm not like normally we go into full spoilers, but I just don't want people to have that one room for them. I want you to kind of go in and see it for yourself. I don't want to get too much more to the plot because I do actually appreciate where some of the twists and turns that are made. So I'm going to kind of just leave it at that. I'm going to keep this review kind of short. The last thing I will say is stay for there is a mid-credit scene. There's not a post-credit scene. There's a mid-credit scene. And it's something that, it's one of my favorite mid-credit scenes in the last 5 years. Like, I loved it. So stay for the mid-credit scene. It's wonderful. But, guys, I really enjoyed this. I'll buy it when it comes out. I tend to be somewhat of a completionist, so I do want to have Zombieland 1 and 2. I actually bought 1 a couple weeks ago in 4K, because I just love 4K. It looks great, by the way. Buy it in 4K. But yeah, I'm going to buy this when it comes out. I really did enjoy this. I thought this was an absolute blast. You should go see it. I saw it at an early, evening. I think that's when it plays well. So I would give this I'm gonna give I think seeing it's at a B, like a matinee. I think it's a little unfair to the movie. So I'm gonna say see it at an early evening showing, at best. I really enjoyed this. So I'm gonna give this a B plus. It's not quite an A. I'll review the first one here this week, but so I won't say what I'd give it. But yeah, I enjoyed this quite a bit. I think there's a lot of laughs. It does still have its heart, which was something that I really kind of forgot about the first one. It's how much heart it had, and the family dynamic, their chemistry still does work, even with adding Madison in, and them being split up for a decent part of the movie. There is one action scene that I was just genuinely like all right, movie. There's this action scene where you get surrounded by some zombies as they're trying to go ahead and get this RV they find on the side of the road, trying to get it started. And there's a great action scene that just shows how they work in tandem. That I went, okay, movie, props on that. So that scene alone made me go, you know what? Yeah, you've learned some tricks here. So yeah, go see this. You see us at an early evening showing, I don't think you'll be disappointed. I think you'll be pretty happy seeing it. So, but yeah, guys, what did you think of Zombieland 2 Double Tap? Let us know in the comments below. You can go ahead and like us on Facebook at The Real Pineapple. You can follow yours truly on the Twitter at JHunterRealPineapple. You can follow Scott on Twitter at Nearmanthefirst. You can follow Colin on Twitter at TheReelOneal. And you can follow us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, Podbean, Stitcher Radio, and Spotify at The Real Pineapple. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And make sure you hit that subscribe button so you're the first to know when we have new stuff coming out. And you can go ahead and like us on Facebook at The Real Pineapple. And in case I didn't mention that, guys, Halloween is right around the corner. Go ahead and check out our sponsor, Stad Guy Studio. That's STADGEIST.studio, and use the code REALP2019 for 10% off your order. Halloween's coming up, guys. Get your orders in. Guys, thank you so much for listening. We'll have a review up this weekend for the original Zombieland, because I do want to talk about that. So we'll have a review up for Zombieland. We'll have a review up for El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie. We'll have a review up as well for Gemini Man, and a review for Black and Blue. So yeah, that's all coming up this weekend. Guys, thank you so much for listening. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.